2013-2014 സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ കൂടെ കോ-ഫൗണ്ടേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മള് എപ്പോഴും ഇങ്ങനെ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, നമ്മൾ ക്യാമ്പസുകളിൽ പല ആവശ്യത്തിനായി, ഞാൻ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ഉള്ള ആളല്ല, പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ 10th മുതൽ അത്യാവശ്യം PHP ഒക്കെ ആയിട്ട് കുറച്ച് പ്രോഗ്രാമിങ്ങും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു. എൻ്റെ BA ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ആയിരുന്നു ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത്. എൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് നമ്മൾ മൊസില്ല കേരളയുടെ പാർട്ടായിട്ട് പല ക്യാമ്പസുകളിൽ ഇവന്റ്സിനായിട്ടൊക്കെ പോകലുണ്ട്, ടെക് ഫെസ്റ്റുകൾക്കായിട്ട് പോകലുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ എല്ലാം നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കുന്ന ഒരു കോമൺ ത്രെഡ് ഉണ്ട്. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഉള്ള ഒരു ഫിയർ, ഈ ഡിഗ്രി പഠിച്ചിട്ട് എന്താണ് പറ്റുക, റൈറ്റ്? ഈ ഡിഗ്രി പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജോലി കിട്ടും, എത്ര പേർക്ക് ജോലി കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്, കോളേജിൽ നിന്ന് പഠിക്കുന്ന ഇത് മാത്രം മതിയോ ഒരു കമ്പനി പോയി വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ? ഇതുപോലുള്ള കുറെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യനുകൾ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ റാൻഡം ആയിട്ട് കേൾക്കും, റൈറ്റ്? ആൻഡ് we were like curious about that conversation because that conversation is everywhere. I'm sure that it happened with you folks as well, right? Like people always worry about the future, right? And that thing is like common across I think everyone take up any profession for that matter, right? And so നമ്മൾ ഈ കോൺവെർസേഷൻ പലപ്പോഴായിട്ട് പല കോളേജുകളിൽ നിന്ന് കേട്ട സമയത്ത് we'll start. So I come from a social science background, so I love looking into data on like what's unemployment rate, right? In Kerala, what's unemployment rate? What's unemployment rate? Very particular to engineering field, or because it's a professional course, right? Like people spend more money on those courses. What's their unemployment rate, right? അപ്പോ ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ഡേറ്റ നോക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ we come into a lot of shocking data. Like I don't want to even quote that numbers right now because it might scare you off, right? But it was huge gap between how many people who finishes or partially finish their college and how many people get a job in the same domain. That's more than 50% if you look at the yearly employment, right? And so we looked into this and we started looking at what's different in other colleges, like in India, what's right, and which are the top colleges who have better placement, right? Not just campus placement, also off-campus placement, right? Like you guys might heard about BITS Pilani. Like other than IIT, BITS Pilani is a big name in the industry. People hire from BITS Pilani. There's a lot of tech founders from BITS Pilani. We look at international universities as well. So what's different between our colleges and these colleges, right? So നമ്മളൊക്കെ പഠിക്കുന്ന കോളേജ് അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുന്ന സമയത്താണ് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത് the exposure you get from these colleges, whichever the college we looked into during like our like small kind of research, we like this exposure was a big thing. Like where you are will definitely give you more exposure, right? And what are the things they did in college, right, while they are in college also made a lot of difference on what is like how they are getting a job, right? Like ഒന്ന് എക്സ്പോഷർ കിട്ടുക എന്നുള്ളത്, രണ്ട് അവർ കോളേജിലുള്ളപ്പോൾ എന്താണ് ചെയ്തത്. അപ്പൊ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇത് നമ്മൾ കുറെ ആളുകളോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയൊക്കെ ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലായ സാധനം, ഇത് നമുക്ക് സോൾവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ലൈക്ക് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ കോളേജുകളിലോ ഇത് നമുക്ക് സോൾവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മള് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സൊല്യൂഷൻസ് നമ്മൾ നോക്കുന്ന സമയത്താണ് റെസിപ്രോക്കൽ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നും പിയർ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നും പറഞ്ഞ രണ്ട് മെത്തഡോളജികളെ കുറിച്ച് ഇത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, റൈറ്റ്? ലൈക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ നോക്കിയ പല ഇതിന്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട്സോ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസോ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ചോദിക്കാട്ടോ. ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു 15 minutes കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് സംസാരിക്കും, പക്ഷെ എപ്പോ വേണമെങ്കിലും ചാറ്റിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ പിയർ ടു പിയർ ലേണിംഗും റെസിപ്രോക്കൽ ലേണിംഗും പൊതുവെ ഈ ക്യാമ്പസുകളിലെല്ലാം കോമൺ ആയിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ഇപ്പൊ IIT പോലത്തെ ഒരു സ്പേസില് പിയർ ടു പിയർ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നൊരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് അവർ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് എൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദി ഡേ അതാണ് ഹോസ്റ്റലുകളിലെല്ലാം സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. അവർ ക്യാമ്പസിലാവുമ്പോൾ അവരുടെ റൂംമേറ്റ്സുകളും ഹോസ്റ്റൽ മേറ്റ്സുകളൊക്കെ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകളുമായിട്ട് ഓരോ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുകൾ അവർ ബിൽഡ് ചെയ്യും, റൈറ്റ്? ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഹെൽപ്സ് എ ലോട്ട് in learning this. So peer-to-peer learning, as like you might already know Torrent, which is a peer-to-peer network, right? Peer-to-peer learning has like the same concept of peer-to-peer. You learn from your own like peer group, right? Your own friend or your cousin or your batchmate, whoever it is, right? You learn from them instead of learning from a master or a teacher or a right. And this learning have bigger impact on how they learn, right? And how much you can grasp from that. And this peer-to-peer learning gives you freedom to ask questions, right? Like usually in the normal teaching method, asking question is a big challenge, right? Like you can't question something. And every science in this world, every progress in this world happened because someone questioned something, right? And peer-to-peer learning gives that space to ask questions, right? Because it's your friend or it's your classmate, you can ask questions, right? You can ask, let's say someone is teaching you Python, for example, right? You can ask why Python, right? Like why Python? Why people created Python in the first place? Why they can't just keep coding in C, C++, right? Like asking this kind of questions, which is sometimes is a fundamental question, you can ask to your friend, and he might also get curious, and you explore that, right? So that's the whole idea of peer-to-peer learning. It finds to be very effective in many countries. Like നമ്മൾ അന്ന് നോക്കിയ കുറെ രാജ്യങ്ങളിലുള്ള ലേണിംഗ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് സ്കൂൾ റെഗുലർ അക്കാഡമിക്സ് ആയാലും അല്ലാത്തതായാലും ഇവിടെ എല്ലാം ഇപ്പം പ്രൊജക്ട്സ് ആയാലും അതുപോലെയുള്ള ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ലേണിംഗുകൾ എല്ലാം ആയാലും ഇവിടെ എല്ലാം ഉള്ള കോമൺ തേർഡ് ഈ പിയർ ടു പിയർ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നുള്ള ഓവർലൈൻസ് ഇതാണ്. അങ്ങനെ അതിൻ്റെ ഒപ്പം റെസിപ്രോക്കൽ ലേണിംഗ്, ലൈക്ക് ഏറ്റവും ഒരു സാധനം പഠിക്കാൻ ഏറ്റവും എളുപ്പമുള്ള മാർഗം അത് പഠിപ്പിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇമ്പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യുക, റൈറ്റ്? ലൈക്ക് നമ്മളൊരു പഠിക്കാൻ ഒരാളെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ലേൺ ചെയ്യുകയും നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ഐഡിയാസ് ക്ലിയർ ആവുകയും ചെയ്യും, റൈറ്റ്? ഇപ്പം നമുക്കൊരു കാര്യം അറിയാം, അത് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്താണ് അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ ആലോചിക്കുക തന്നെ ചെയ്യുക, റൈറ്റ്? ബിക്കോസ് ലൈക്ക് നമ്മൾ റൈറ്റ്, ലൈക്ക് ഫോർ പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ആർ ഗോയിങ് ടു യൂസ് യുവർ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് ഓർ യുവർ സർവീസ്, റൈറ്റ്? That's I think fundamental to do any job for that matter. Even if you joining somewhere as a UI designer or a product manager or even a tech guy, in most of the startups you have to understand the user behavior, like why people do certain things, how people react to certain things, right? And that's a first and I think foremost thing. Then second, you having, like if it's a tech product, you figuring out how to do it, right? Like what's the tech you will use and how you gonna build, right? And I think the future will be more everyone building everything than having particular roles that, oh, I only do design, I only do tech, I am the CEO, I only care about business. That doesn't work in a startup culture, right? You might have to have understanding of all these things together. So looking into business side of things, how CAC works, for example, right? Like how customer acquisition cost works. Some companies in India, their CACs are 10,000, 15,000 to acquire a user, like a single user, right? There is companies do acquire customers with as low as like 25 rupees, right? So like business terms like this, like how the economics works behind products, that's also a good thing to learn. That would be the third. Then yeah, and I think how to, if you require fund, how to raise that needs a lot of skill, which is really hard to build. You have to train a lot to do that with like someone have to trust you to give you millions of dollars, right? So you have to very good at presenting, right? Very good at articulating the idea what your product gonna do or how much money it's gonna make, right? So And this is usual startup scene. I would say there is something called indie developers, indie hackers, which is independent developers, right? People who build small websites and make a lot of money, right? Not lot, maybe $2,000 a month, which is like 1,40,000 plus, right? Or 3,000 or whatever. So that kind of industry is also huge, right? Opportunity there is also huge. So you just need maybe two people to work on that, right? Or you can do a side project. I do a few of my side projects like that, like apps for Slack, Discord. I do uh, some bit of that, and that's that's very helpful in your career, in your learning, to build small companies while you are in college, especially like that you can show as experience in your resume when you apply, right? Like you build a startup or a product in the side is a huge plus, plus on your resume. Yeah. Anything else?
ഹലോ.
Yeah.
അപ്പോൾ ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ ഈ സ്മോൾ ചെറിയ പ്രോജക്റ്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, ഈ ചെറിയ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഒക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഫൈവർ, അപ്വർക്ക് പോലുള്ള പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് ഒക്കെ ഇല്ലേ, അതൊക്കെ എങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് അതിലൊക്കെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുതരാമോ?
Okay. So, like, I personally didn't use a few or any like freelance platforms. There is a lot of platform, freelancer.com, Fiverr, and everything. See, freelancing is the other thing, right? Like, independent, like you doing a independent product is different thing, right? The independent products you do directly gives you revenue based on the sales of the product, right? Or the ads you get from that. But Fiverr is more skill based. You work on very particular stuff, right? But I did quite a lot freelance work when I was in college or when I dropped out of college. Um, I think one thing helped me a lot is to build good personal brand in in platform like Fiverr or in Twitter and everything, right? Like you keep talking to people on Twitter or LinkedIn, and whenever they have requirements, they just contact you, right? Like platforms to find freelance work are also great. I personally never tried that, but I have a lot of friends who just leave using that. There you have to like how good is your profile, how you add your past works and everything helps a lot, right? And I think that's a key difference, and how much you quote as well, right? But you can't go a lot low, right? Like, so my friend quoted very less for his, he wanted to do some kind of internship or freelance work before he going for a job. He quoted as low as $10 per day, which is quite low. But then someone quoted $5, right? Because so there is kind of uh, competition there, so you have to find the right people. I think it's better to find offline than online, at least in my experience. Like there will be people from your town who needs an app for their website, app for their shop, or things like that, right? Uh, and if you network a lot, you will get contacts. So yeah.
ഹലോ.
Hello.
ഓക്കെ. ലൈക്ക് ടിങ്കർ ഹബിലേക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രോഗ്രാമിംഗ് സ്കില്ലിന്റെ ഒക്കെ അല്ല ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാമിംഗ് നോളജിന്റെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ആവശ്യമുണ്ടോ? ജസ്റ്റ്
ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം സ്കില്ലിന്റെ ആവശ്യമില്ല. See, there is something we believe, right? Like we don't look at the job market from what the job market needs today, right? And I think that's a differentiator between like Thinker Hub and other learning platforms, we make assumptions, we make strategy for next 10 years. Like after 10 years, what's the technology you need, right? Do you even need technology? Will AI, ML come and take over everything, right? We have that level of funny discussions around like what gonna happen in 10 years, and we plan everything accordingly, right? And one thing we strongly believe is future, any job for that matter, um, needs some level of technical understanding, right? It might not be programming as such, but programming will definitely help, right? Like, so I'll tell you one example from my recent experience, right? So every school, college, right, we studied, there will be set of teachers who always take initiative for this, right? Like for things like at first things like some community activities or NSS, all these things. Right? Like, there will be a set of there was at least in my school there was a set of teachers who take initiative, and there is second there is other teachers, right? Like I think like the lockdown changed this dynamics a lot. Teachers who understand how to take better attendance in online become way popular favorite for kids than teachers who used to become take leadership of art first channel, right? I'm talking from my purely from my experience. Colleges, as colleges, it might differ, right? But see, I have this friend who is a teacher right now. She wrote a script to take attendance from Zoom, right? Automatically, it tracks how much time you spend on that the platform they use. I think it's not Zoom, but some other platform, right? And it automatically shows in a dashboard. So that's her attendance, right? I think the future, all the jobs will have some level of that thing, right? Like where if you can run a script and automate your jobs, that will be a huge plus, right? And it goes across all the industries we looked into, even the hotel industry. It's a lot of tech nowadays, right? Even the restaurant industry needs bit of tech understanding, right? Like you have to know about SEO, search, keywords, and everything to list something on Swiggy, for example, right? Like what's the keyword people will search and everything. So like we believe that in future most of the job roles need some requirement, even if it's a business development, even it's a MBA, whatever it is, right? So we encourage everyone to learn coding, right? And this is a platform for people who want to learn coding and nothing else, right? This is a platform for people who want to understand technology, want to build a career out of that. And definitely we teach things like uh, product management, UI, and everything on our platform. But the core objective of ThinkerHub is to teach as many people to learn coding. It will definitely empower them. That's what we believe and what that we are acquiring for. So to join ThinkerHub, for some, if I summarize, to join ThinkerHub, you don't need tech skill, but the platform is entirely designed to learn that or like enable that learning for students.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
ഹലോ
Okay.
തിങ്ക് ഹബ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിന്റെ ബെനിഫിറ്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്?
Okay. It's really hard one to talk about, because I think generally what I told about ThinkerHub, I think that's a summary benefit of ThinkerHub, right? Like you learn new skills, right? And skills are important than many things in your life, right? Like to get a job, to crack a job, it's sometimes more valuable than the degree certificate as well, right? And that's uh, very evident these days. Like people hire directly from Twitter. People hire directly from GitHub, right? And people who are just out of college getting hired as CTO or VP engineering, right? And we always focus on building that skills. As I said, tech is very important in that, but with just understanding tech, you can't crack any of this job, right? You should know how to work together, right? How to collaborate, how to communicate, right? And usually people really struggle with that. I think this is one college I see a lot of people even unmuting and asking questions, right? Like most of the colleges, most of the events we do, people don't unmute and ask questions, right? People are scared to do that. And if you if you have the same attitude when you go to a job, right, they won't hire you, right? Even if they hire you, you can't survive there, right? So those kind of supplementary skills to achieve any job for that matter, definitely coding, programming around skill sets, we focus and do a lot. We do programs like Build from Home, which was like a team activity. We did that as a team activity only because people had to learn how to learn collaboration, right? Have to learn how to collaborate in code using GitHub and everything, right? So that's the other thing. Then there's a lot of leadership opportunities inside ThinkHub because it's fully students driven. People get to lead things, right? When to manage things, and trust me, that's a skill you need when you are going to work as a team lead or work as a like in 5 years in your job, right? So we help in manifesting those skills as well. Yeah, I would say, see, and we do this thing, like me or Meher or anyone doing, like we have a lot of people volunteering for this cause. And we run this as a non-profit. The entire idea is the skill gap is a truth, right? And there will be thousand other ways to also tackle this. I don't think ThinkHub is the only way to tackle that thing, but it is scary how that skill gap is right now in the industry, and how many people struggle to find a job, and that's personally scary for me. So we always do things with that thing, right? And we treat the entire community as volunteers. That's the other thing, right? Like volunteering for a cause will help you in different ways, right? To and as I mentioned, to be more empathetic, to be more compassionate about others, right? And that I think that's also another not benefit but the outcome. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
To add to that, we do career focused events called HIRAC, where we collaborate with industry and enable off campus hirings, internships, hirings, and everything. That also very beneficial for students. Any other question?
Sir,
Okay.
sir, learning coding is an easy.
Easy. Like, is it a question? Like, are you asking is coding, learning how to code is easy or not? I didn't get your question, Abhishek.
It's easy to learn coding.
Very tricky one. But I learned coding when I was in 10th standard. PHP. I used to build websites using WordPress, Drupal. Um, I learned it just out of curiosity. The learning resources at that time was uh, not that great. I used to study PHP from a book like called like PHP for Dummies or something like that. That's how I started learning coding. I know a lot of kids in Thinker Hub right now who are from 7th standard, 8th standard, 10 plus 1 plus 2. They also learn coding, right? And uh, I will like go to the extent and say it's easy to learn, but learning is learning specific stuffs are like different for different people, right? For me, math was my easiest subject, but I did really bad with chemistry, right? So, like I had like same enthusiasm to learn both the things, but I was not able to. So it depend on language, depend on people, their personal experience, their curiosity, a lot of things. But in general, if I had to generalize and say learning coding is easy if you put right effort uh, and never give up, right? And so I think how I learned coding is because I was not ready to give up, because whenever you start studying learning, you face a lot of bugs, right? Like issues, right? And uh, I I kind of had what I should call it, like power or ignorance to uh, keep trying, right? And that's one thing when you learn to code. One thing you face, you face a lot of bugs, you find a lot of issues. You try to Google it and solve it, and even till now, if I write 10 line of code, there will be 100 line of error. So I think it goes for everyone who with experience, not have experience. That you will keep uh, facing challenges. The thing is, if you keep learning, you'll definitely get better at it, right? And it will be part of your muscle memory. And a lot of things in coding is part of your muscle memory, right? You find a code, error code, you Google it, you figure it out, and learning. Like this is one thing you don't learn at school, college, or school, right? Because how people learn with Google or any search engine for that matter changed a lot in last 10 years, especially in last 4 or 5 years post geo, right? Like whenever people get curious, they just Google, right? Like just like, and it's not even Google, right? So for for an example, like uh, എൻ്റെ ഉമ്മയുടെ സെർച്ച് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് എല്ലാം യൂട്യൂബിലാണ്. യൂട്യൂബിൽ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ട് എന്താണ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കുക്കിംഗ് അതുപോലത്തെ സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ നോക്കും. സോ ഞാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യം വീട്ടിലുണ്ടായിരുന്നപ്പം ഉമ്മ ഇങ്ങനെ പറയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഓ ഈ റോസാപ്പൂവിൽ എന്തോ പുഴു എന്തോ കയറി, അപ്പൊ ഒന്ന് യൂട്യൂബിൽ നോക്കിക്കേ ഇതിനെന്താ ചെയ്യാം, റൈറ്റ്? ആൻഡ് people's learning how to get knowledge changed a lot in last 4 or 5 years, right? I think that helped a lot of people to get better at coding, because you have, like, if you face a bug, there will be 1,000 other people also face the same issue. So people document it. There is like solutions out there. You just have to go and find. And when you can't find solutions like that, I think there is a lot of communities that there is Python community, there is ThinkerHub, there is GTech, there is Hack Club. There is a lot of communities out there, right? And these communities, people help each other, right? And uh, they all believe that like helping each other is the way to grow. And that's amazing thing, which was not the case 5-6 years back. It is easy, like give it a try. Like before, people usually say, like especially students in college usually say, oh, I don't know, coding is a bit hard, I give up, I want to do something non-coding, and all, right? See, coding you do for college, school, is entirely different what in the industry, right? Like people don't build a lot of stuff in C++ or whatever it is. in real world, right? It's more fun to code in Python or Node and everything, right? So build few products before you say you don't know coding or don't understand coding. So one of my friend who was like studying at NIT and then IAM is brilliant at coding. He always like suggests to build something in, like, before you take any tutorial, right? Take a problem statement and start building that, right? Like, so I wanted to learn Go, so he gave me a problem statement and he asked me, don't go and learn that language on YouTube first. You start doing the coding, like look at the documentation, you start doing the coding, and when you hit challenge, you go and uh, uh, go and like learn about it, then you completing a course. So learning works very different for different people. For me, that works. Like whenever I want to learn a language, I go and build something on that language. I might drop that project in between, but that's the best for me to learn. Other than like I go and watch entire YouTube video for 7 hours, then I start trying to code on it. It doesn't work. Like I can't store that much information on my head. So I usually like start look at the initial phase, read the documentation and start building stuff. And each step I go back and like I think that's how I tried Android iOS development. I'm building something on iOS right now. It's just out of curiosity, and that's how I learn as well. I think that's the one approach you can choose to. Some people likes to learn in a book and go and code it. That's totally fine. But my learning, in my experience, this works better for me. And you have to like realize that, like, everyone here, right? How you learn stuff, you have to realize that you have to find that answer, right? Because learning had a very definitive uh, definitive pathway when you are in college, right? Like teacher teaches something, you study, you write it for the exam, and everything is fine, right? But in real world, in life, usually it is not a linear path, right? How you learn Malayalam, for example, right? You, before you get into the school, you know Malayalam, right? That's how you learn from your peer group, your parents and everything, right? And everyone's learning at, like, when we are in the first grade is not same, right? So people learn in different ways, and when you want to learn new things in life, right, you have to find that answer, that like what's the best learning method for you. And I think that's a big kind of a drawback of how we learn currently, right? Because it's one method fits for everyone, and but in real world it doesn't work like that, right? Every person and every personal experience is different, so your learning also differ based on that. So yeah, this is like how I learn. People can have different ways of learning, like. Anything else, folks?
ബ്രോക്ക് ഏതെങ്കിലും മെമ്മറീസ് ഉണ്ടോ എന്താണ് കൂടെ ചെയ്തിട്ട്?
കേട്ടില്ല.
ബ്രോക്ക് വല്ല മെമ്മറീസ് ഉണ്ടോന്ന് ചോദിക്കാം. എന്താ വെച്ചാല് കൂടെ ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ്ങിലൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവല്ലോ.
എനിക്ക് ആദ്യത്തെ പാർട്ട് മനസ്സിലായില്ല.
കോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാനല്ലേ?
കോഡിങ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്. ഓക്കെ
ബ്രോ, ഒരിക്കലും മറന്നു പോവാത്ത ഇൻ കേസ് എന്താ വെച്ചാല് ചിലതൊക്കെ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അവസാനം
see, yeah, so like people learn to code for different purpose, right? I learned coding for the pure joy of surviving, not even like building. People usually code because they like building stuff. I did it because I had to find a job before +1 +2. So the easiest way for me to do was like learn to code. I didn't had access to a computer or smartphone at that point. Like it is like 2008 9 times, and there was no popular smartphone. There was like this Nokia N95 and everything. I used to go to my mom's house and I just assemble computer, format it, write series. So whenever I go to my mom's place, I make like 5-10 copies of Windows XP, which is a Windows software at that time, and I come back to my hometown and uh, install this CD on my friend's laptop, and I get paid like 50 rupees, 100 rupees. So that's how I started. Was not pure coding. Then my friend wanted to start a business. He was in Dubai, and their website making was a big thing. Using Dreamviewer, there was an app software called Dreamviewer. So during like after my 10th, before my +1, during that vacation, I happened to get this book, HTML CSS book, and I start doing that website, and I sent it to him, and it worked, right? And that's how it started. But I was always curious about tech. I was like always read things around tech. Then during +1, +2, I worked on a couple of projects, which was like for a beginner was a huge project. I worked on Madhyamam website, which have like millions of visitors. At that time, I didn't know the seriousness of that project, to be honest, but it worked. Somehow it worked. That given me a lot of opportunities to go and explore other companies. Like when you know some people who are in tech, it's very easy to get connections, right? And that's how I got my first job, first job kind of thing. Then I like keep learning things. Like when I did the website design for my friend Dubai website, I didn't know that there is UI UX and everything. I looked at a website, it looks nice. I tried to copy the same thing, right? I didn't know it was design. So I started learning design when I was in +1, +2, I think, from YouTube, like completely from YouTube, not YouTube even. I think there was other platforms that provide those kind of community. Like in Facebook, there was a UI UX community, so I go and read things there and try to implement. I think like that Madhyamam experience was great because it scaled a lot. I think the core systems is still we wrote that thing, and so I think that was like one project I really loved.